I am pushing my bike now.
Just in time for October leaf season, some friends and I set out on a bikepacking trip in western North Carolina. I mapped a new route for this trip. Day 1 starts out at Lake Powhatan Campground and uses the Blue Ridge Parkway and some National Forest Service roads to get to the North Mills Campground. Day 2 is considerably longer and follows service roads and Highway 276 to the hub, before using Avery Creek and Clawhammer Road to climb up from the Davidson River. The final day consists of getting back to the start at Lake Powhatan. The parking lot at Ledford Branch Trailhead is a great starting point for any bike trip. It's got basic restroom facilities and a bike station. We also had no problems leaving our cars there. Typical for most of western North Carolina, whichever bike you bring on a bikepacking trip here will be the right bike sometimes and the wrong bike others. Our group ran the gamut. I rode my Kona Rove, set up with Ortlieb panniers. We also had 2 Surly Bridge Clubs, a Salsa Cutthroat, and a specialized full suspension mountain bike, which turned out to be a celebrity as it was kitted out with the Tailfin Aero Pack. The Rove, Bridge Clubs, and Cutthroat all used tumbleweed racks, which worked like a charm.
Just finished the climb up to the parkway. Super easy climb. Just spin the pedals. Gorgeous. And now getting ready to ride onto the parkway. Nice road hills. What's that? Nice road hills. Clever. Can't recommend enough not having someone in Aaron. Let me see what I did there.
The North Mills Campground is one of my favorites in Western North Carolina. The hosts are always friendly and there are excellent facilities. It's close to Brevard and Asheville, but feels far away. As the name implies, it also sits right next to the North Mills River. I was excited to bring along my 10-car beartooth rod since it's the beginning of delayed harvest season. I even surprised myself by catching a happy little rainbow trout. I won't bike pack without the rod again. It fits nicely into my half-frame bag and is a great way to relax off the bike. I might even go for a bike fishing trip here in the near future.
You thought I was dead? Oh. Like, he's really sound asleep. When'd you get up? Did your wife still visit your hair with problems?
I did, yeah. I have a little problem with spoons. They're still there.
today's ride's been great. It's the climb out of North Mills, which is just climbing Yellow Gap Road for a long time, which is nice and steady. It's beautiful out here, as you can see. So the riding has been great. Leaves are changing. When you stop, you actually cool off. It's been pretty fantastic.
Can't ride in Brevard without visiting the Hub, a bike shop, gear store, and tavern all in one. We ended up hanging out for hours, just relaxing in the sun and stretching our legs. After all, how many routes feature chicken and waffles, a great selection of beer, and an excellent bike shop?
Here to there, all the way back up to the top is 12 or 10 miles.
There was just one time. So many false crossings. Yeah, instead of like, yeah, I turn around and yeah, of course. This has to be part of the epic experience.
The Davidson River Campground, just down Highway 276 from the Hub, is beautiful. However, we decided to be bold and try to get some more miles in before the sun went down. So, we turned off Highway 276 onto Avery Creek Road, before then heading up Clawhammer, a steep ascent that would eventually take us up to Yellow Gap Road and back toward the start. This would turn out to be a pretty interesting evening.
It's about 6:30. Got to the Hub just fine and hung out there for a while. So it's a different route than just going back up Avery Creek. We got to Avery Creek and then turned off. So this is steep. This was the steepest thing we've done today. And so now we're gonna see if we can find a campsite. Doing some night riding, or dusk riding at least.
Riding at night was actually pretty enjoyable. We stuck together as much as possible and had plenty of light with our headlamps and bike lights. It's eerie not being able to see everything around, but it certainly makes you pay attention.
So there's some rocks to look out for, but there's no like precipitous drops, I saw.
And then my front wheel folded in half. It wasn't a wreck. Suddenly I just fell over and my wheel was a taco. I'm less than 6 months out from a bikepacking trip that ended with a broken collarbone, so I have to admit that I was pretty pissed when this happened. Yet another trip ending in a terrible luck. I threw my bike over my shoulder, found the campsite, and started to figure out just how many miles I'd have to walk out. Fortunately, Eric had worked on wheels before. His initial assessment showed that it wasn't totaled, so he loosened the spokes, banged it back into something approaching a circle, and I was pretty elated that I could at least roll the tire inside the fork. Sure, my trip wouldn't end like I wanted, but at least I wouldn't be carrying my bike the rest of the way. I also can't recommend the Crank Brothers F15 multi-tool enough. Its spoke wrench really saved my entire trip. I'll make sure to put a link in the description.
Okay, so here's the situation. I am pushing my bike now. Bad luck has struck again. So last night we had to do a little bit of night riding and just going down like a normal little section, and the tire just buckled. So I think what had happened is that one of the spokes had come loose, and so eventually I just, dropped enough at one point that the whole thing just kind of crumpled. So in camp, fortunately, we were able to at least get it enough that it rolls. But we basically loosened every spoke just to get it so that it wouldn't rub on the front fork. So that's bad luck. Really bad luck. Did not plan to walk out of here. So the plan right now is I'll head out to North Mills, so like a 10 or 12 mile hike, I guess, with the bike. And then they'll circle back and pick me up at the end. So yeah, pretty unfortunate way to end, but I guess that's how adventure riding works, right? Is that some things don't go exactly according to plan, but there's not much I can do about it. All right, so just finished up cruising along South Mills. Just went through a gate right back there. Wide open parking lot down here. Now it looks like a decent little gravel road actually going up. Yep, made it up to Wolf Ford Horse Camp. Yeah, a little under 4 miles. It should just be a right turn up here onto Yellow Gap and takes you right back to the North Mills. My tire, going strong. It's good enough right now that I can ride along at basically 2 miles an hour or so. So, not too bad. Just taking it slow and easy. Fortunately, it's actually rideable at a very slow speed. So, I think I might be going 2 or 3 miles an hour or something like that, but it beats walking the whole way, so it's not too bad, really. So just kind of making it up the hills. It is beautiful out here. It looks like the leaves have changed even from yesterday when we started the trip. A little bit more color every hour, it seems like. And you can actually see them falling now, which is pretty cool. Okay, I have to admit, it's not so bad. Just about finished up. I managed to ride the second half of this, and it's been beautiful, really. So it's definitely not the way I wish all of this would have ended. I really wanted to finish out the actual route, and I guess I technically could. It'd take forever. Going like 4 or 5 miles an hour. But at the same time, the weather's beautiful. I am riding, and even if I were walking, it's not so bad. And so I think that's kind of part of that, I guess, that adventure, that things may not go exactly to plan. That doesn't mean they're going badly. You just have to make the most out of what you are given.
I made it to the North Mills and even had time to catch another fish before reconnecting with my friends. I'd planned this trip to coincide with the release of A Desolate Divide on This Eastward Metamorphosis, a collaboration between Asheville's Burial Brewing and bikepacking.com that is celebrating the completion of the Eastern Divide Trail. The beer is excellent, and it was amazing to hear the panel's thoughts on beer, bikes, and the suffering and joy that comes from bikepacking.
Special delivery.
I kind of flesh it out, and I'm obsessed with geography and how, you know, as you travel through the landscape, what that looks like.
I went down to the edge of that water. I had just my my chamois on. I was ready to jump in, and when I'm right about to jump in, I see an alligator right over there, and I'm like, oh man, I'm already invested. I'm going for it. I jumped right in, got right out. But it was just so funny the way he described that spot. It was like it wasn't unique at all. There was 25 spots that looked like that. This guy, and he was dead serious about his skunk ape hunting and
the taxing, arduous, I don't know,
everything that we did
painful
from
elements
the hub all the way to today,
suffering. That these longer rides induce.
Wow.
We wanted to really showcase that in a way that was representative of both the Burial brand as well as the bikepacking brand, and thankfully, the two brands have a lot of similarities.